Hi guys, welcome back to Balcony of Unsaid. I'm so happy to see you here. I hope you're all doing well. So today's episode is actually about why being myself always felt like I'm falling behind or I'm doing something wrong. Like when I'm being myself, I always feel awkward or so out of place, and I always have this quiet panic that everyone else has their life figured out, and I'm like why everyone else got their instructions for life and I was left out. Like, hello? Can someone help me? Because I don't know what to do. Yeah. But before we get into this, I actually wanted to start this episode with like a gossip session or story time, whatever. Because recently I went to this party with my mom. We took some photos, we posted them, and someone replied with, "Where are your friends? Is it cool now to hang out with your mom or what?" And I was like, sorry? Like, what did I miss? When hanging out with your parents became something that I should be ashamed of or embarrassed? And I started to think about it, and I really came to realization that we have some unspoken rule in the society that, especially when you're in your 20s, when you're young, you should be out, busy, social, networking, having stories to tell. And if you're home, you're boring. If you hang out with your parents, that's suspicious. There is something wrong with that. And I really don't understand why spending time with your parents became like a personal flaw or something. Because every time that I told my friends that, oh no, I'm gonna like spend time with my mom or staying with my mom or something like that, they're like, oh, that's sad. We're sorry. And I'm like, what are you sorry about? Like, I love spending time with my mom. I have a cool mom. Like, we're gonna drink wine, gossip about everyone and everything in the world. We're gonna watch Stranger Things. Like, what the fuck are you sorry about? But I still catch myself feeling guilty or weird. Like, that I'm doing something wrong, that I chose staying with my mom over partying with my friends or something like that. Like, I should be embarrassed about it. And that pisses me off because why did so many people teach me to be ashamed of something that is actually a privilege? And believe me, I understand how lucky I am because it wasn't always for me like that. I wasn't close with my parents growing up. I didn't have the relationship that I have now with them, and we actually did a lot of work, and it came later, very slowly and very uncomfortably, believe me. When we're children or when we're teens, we don't really see our parents as people, which is weird because they are people, but we don't see them as people. We see them as rule makers, as authority, as these figures that have their life figured out and they're supposed to help us and navigate us. But then just one day you realize that, oh, my parents are actually just people. I know, wow, cool. What a realization. I know, you're shocked too. But yeah, like I realized one day that my mom was just once a girl that wanted love and safety, and my dad, who was always like this wise, calm, smart figure for me, he was also confused and scared, and he still is because it's his first time leaving too. And they're not life coaches or superheroes, they're just people. And actually, this realization can be really uncomfortable because I think you lose some safety, maybe. But it's also incredibly freeing because I think when you realize that your parents are just people, you actually meet them for the first time. And you are not angry or pissed about their emotions or some decisions because you actually now understand where does this come from, because they're not super people, they're just people, and they also have their backgrounds and their pain and their problems and insecurities, and that's why they act how they act. As I said, my parents and I did a lot of work to have the kind of relationship that we have right now, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And don't get me wrong, I understand where does this judgment of spending a lot of time with your parents comes from. Unfortunately, the problem is that just not a lot of people have parents they would want to willingly spend time with, unfortunately. And that's sad, but I just want to remind everyone that your experience is not universal. So why the hell do you make other people feel ashamed or weird or embarrassed because you can help yourself but project your experience on them? Like, honestly, I don't know what I hate more in this world than judgment. I don't even understand the nature of it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a saint. I also judge people, I think. But it never, I don't know how to explain this. It never comes intentional or with real, like, anger or something. I do it, like, more for fun or as a joke, but I never actually, like, sincerely judge anyone. But everyone else, I don't know, everyone else is so fucking judgmental, and it pisses me off because I think you can do nothing, you just exist, and you're still gonna be judged. You're gonna be judged for anything. You're gonna be judged for anything in this world. Anything that you do or don't do in your life. And that's fucked up. But unfortunately, I don't think it will ever change. Anyway, actually spending a lot of time at home with your parents or without leads to something else. Also leads to something else, which is being a good girl. Which means that while everyone were having their first kisses, heartbreaks, first drunk nights that were probably either iconic or the worst, I was home. Not because I wasn't allowed going somewhere or I had strict parents, no. Actually, my parents always wanted me to go somewhere because I always stayed in, and I think they were worried or something. But yeah, I was never not allowed. It just didn't feel right for me. These environments were loud, messy, overwhelming, and I think I didn't even feel safe being there, which was an incredibly lonely experience because I still want to belong. I still want to have stories and memories. I want to be included. But in order to be included, I need to do some things I'm not comfortable with or that just don't really feel right for me. And you feel like you're betraying your inner self or you're making yourself uncomfortable on purpose, just trying to belong, just trying to feel included, which is fucked up because, you know, when you meet with your friends or classmates and everyone starts sharing their amazing, interesting, crazy stories from the weekends, and then you're like, oh, I stayed in, like, nothing really interesting, just, I don't know, read a book, watched some TV show or something like that. And suddenly the vibe is changed and everyone is like, oh, okay. Suddenly it's awkward and suddenly you feel like your life is less interesting, less valid. And you know, we always say don't judge people for what they did, but we never say don't judge people for what they didn't do. Because why am I judged for being inexperienced? Like, yeah, I am. What's wrong with that? I'm not judging you for doing something. I'm not judging you for, I don't know, having a couple of boyfriends in the last couple of months or sleeping with someone or drinking or doing whatever you did. But you judge me for not doing this. Like, that's fucked up. Why? But that's how, especially I think young groups of people, like when you're at school, when you're in university, that's how it works for some reason. And I never understood why I feel embarrassed for being who I am. Yeah, I stayed in, maybe I didn't have a lot of like social contacts or whatever, I didn't have that much relationship or never had relationship at all. Yeah, I like didn't go to parties or didn't do some crazy shit. Why am I supposed to be embarrassed of that? And you can tell, well, don't. Well, that's hard when you speak and when you tell someone that, oh yeah, like didn't do that, never had this experience. Vibe is changed. Suddenly it's awkward, suddenly it's like silence and everyone is like, okay. Anyway, that was always like that for me. Or especially when you play truth or dare and it's truth, and there are some crazy questions, and you always feel. I lied so many times when playing Truth or Dare just because I felt not safe telling that I'm inexperienced or something like that, because it was like uncool. Because I think everywhere, like in the society, we have some rules: what's cool, what's not cool, how you're supposed to act, or what you're supposed to do or have to be included to be cool. And I think it's like the law of nature that we still have inside of us. We have these thoughts that to stand out is not safe, because you need to be like everyone else in the pack. If you stand out, you're getting kicked out of the pack, and you can survive on your own in the wild. That's the law of nature. But, well, good news that we don't live in packs or in the wilds anymore. So, believe me, you're gonna be completely fine on your own. Because actually, recently I've realized that I'm completely fine with who I am now and who I was my whole life. I like my peace. I didn't have a lot of social contacts, or I don't have a lot of stories or whatever. And if it makes me boring, fine. Weird, fine. Awkward little introvert, fine. Because yeah, I love to stay in. Yes, I'm awkward because I didn't practice being social. And there is nothing wrong with this, because that's my path. And I think we have a really hard time with respecting paths of other people, and actually sometimes even respecting our own. Because honestly, I would rather be alone than with someone who makes me feel like I'm supposed to perform to be included or accepted. Because why am I supposed to change because people love this loud or extroverted or crazy version of me? Like, I'm sorry, that's the version that you get, and if you don't like it, you can leave. Like, that's not my problem. And actually, I've had a really hard time in my life coming to realization that it's not my problem. I didn't do anything wrong, and I know this like for 100%. So if you're judging me for being me, fuck you. What can I say? That's not my problem. But yeah, anyway, I think everything that I talked about today actually leads to some bigger problem, and actually the curse of our generation, I think, which is too much possibility, too much comparison, too much version of ourselves that we could potentially be. Like, our generation is drowning in options. Because, like, before you even get out of your bed, you compare it yourself to, like, 30 other people. Like, you're open Instagram and suddenly everyone is rich, everyone is beautiful, everyone is emotionally healed, everyone is so productive, and you're like, yeah, cool, good for you, thank you. Now I feel like a loser. And it's like the first 5 minutes since you woke up. But the worst part is, I think I'm so used to watching other people's lives, to listening to other people's thoughts, that I actually can't understand now, where are my thoughts? Where are my dreams? Because I want to be a fashion designer in New York. I want to run a bakery in Italy or France. I want to be a yoga instructor in Bali, and all at once. Like, so many lives, so many possibilities, so many versions. But instead of choosing one and sticking to it and actually do something for it, I do nothing. I scroll, I compare, I feel stuck, I feel unmotivated, and I'm like, yeah, great, I'm a loser, thank you. But I don't want to call it an advice, because who the fuck am I to give you an advice? But yeah, just fuck off from expectations, from comparison, from the idea that you're supposed to want what everyone else wants. Because it's actually, it always pissed me off again, the whole my life, that we have some unspoken universal image of how happiness or success supposed to look like. And we don't think that maybe for someone else, your image of success or happiness, it's not success and happiness for them. Because, okay, you want, I don't know, be rich and famous and have a penthouse in New York, and some person wants to have a cabin in the middle of nowhere, a cow, and And he's gonna be so happy and so satisfied with his life. And for him, that's the definition of happiness and the goal in his life. For you, it's like, that's what you want? Are you fucking serious? Yeah, that's what he wants. And please respect that. Like, that's fine and that's fine. This dream is valid and that dream is valid. Stop thinking that your experience or your image of happiness or success is universal. That if person wants a cabin in the middle of nowhere, oh, you're not ambitious. Why the hell is he supposed to be ambitious? Because you said so? Cool, be ambitious if you want to. If that's your goal, be ambitious. Good for you. But stop judging other people for how their brain works or for what they want. Just respect other people. Is it that hard? Sorry, I'm getting emotional. I just hate how world works, honestly. So yeah, I just wanted to say that you're not behind, you're not broken, you're not less. You're just human in the world that constantly tries to pull you away from yourself. And actually, I have been thinking about this a lot recently, and I have a theory that we all know what we want, okay? And we all have what we need to achieve it and to have it. But I think the challenge of life is that everything and everyone in the world is trying to pull you away from it, to make you forget what you want or lose it or something like that. And it became incredibly easy with social media and how we're so used to watching other people or listening to their thoughts. But I think the biggest challenge again, but the biggest goal in your life should be getting back home to who you already are, which is incredibly hard again, especially with social media. But you have already all the answers in you. You just need to get back to them. All right, that's everything that I have to say today. If at any point in this video you thought, oh, that's so me, oh, I think the same, yeah, that's so real, I'm glad you were here, and tell me your thoughts in the comments, and let's maybe be less alone together. I will definitely be. And take care of yourself, diva, and I'll see you next time.